It's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to continue something old. It's never too late for anything. You make your own path. If you allow somebody to say, nope, you're done, and you stop, how are you going to know how far you could have gone if you don't try? Take that leap of faith.
Welcome back to Shine In and Out, the space where science meets soul. I'm your host, Sammy Stoltz, and today's guest is Rhonda Ruether. And she is living proof that transformation doesn't always happen in our 20s. Sometimes it waits for us to get quiet enough to hear it. After serving in the military twice and working 12 years in nursing and raising 2 children and now 2 grandchildren, Rhonda walked away from the stability of her career to follow something much less predictable, the creative pull to write. Since then, she's written over 90 books, multiple songs, screenplays, and has helped countless others share their stories through ghostwriting and editing. Her story is a masterclass in resilience, reinvention, and the power of listening to what the heart keeps whispering. Let's jump in. All right, Rhonda, welcome to Shine In and Out.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. So I'd love to start with your background because it's obviously been an incredible journey and it feels like you've lived so many lives in one. So if we could give the listener a little bit of background to how you got to where you are today, that would be amazing.
I'll try to make it short. I was adopted to begin with, and I had an amazing mom and dad and family. They raised me right. Right out of high school, I went into the military. I've had a couple marriages. Um, you know, uh, just enjoyed life for a little bit. Worked here and there and yonder, and then I got into nursing. I was a nurse for 12 years. Worked with the mentally ill. I was registered medication aide. Um, I have 2 beautiful children. They're grown now and they're parents themselves. And I really wasn't all that happy in the career that I chose. It was always in the back of my mind. I wanted to do something different. And so I took a leap of faith. I quit a 12-year nursing career. I was in the state guard at the time. I resigned from that as a staff sergeant, and I started writing. And I felt so at home writing that 10 years later, I'm still doing it. And it's what I do for a living.
That is
Um,
so awesome.
yeah. And a lot of it is, people say they have dreams, they have things they want to do, but life gets busy and you don't get a chance to do it. And I say, yeah, that's true, but you need to take that leap of faith because you don't know where you're going to end up unless you try.
I could not agree more.
It's a leap of faith that everybody should take.
Yeah,
If you can't make it, at least you tried.
exactly. Because if
You
you're
know,
looking back, I always have this path of least regret. If you're on your deathbed and you're thinking to yourself, what if I tried to be an author? That is so much more painful than saying, I tried everything. And even if
right,
if it didn't work out, I'm glad that I did it. So
right,
that it's still very brave though, because so many people are unsatisfied in their day job, if you will, but they don't do anything about it. So did you have a moment where you were like, all right, I'm doing it? Or was it kind of just like a slow, educated decision, over time?
no, it was a spur of the moment. I did not even give it 2 weeks notice. I woke up one morning and said, nope, I'm done. I want to write, and
Wow.
this is what I want to do. I apologized to my old boss, who she and I are still really good friends today.
Good,
But
good.
I didn't give it 2 weeks notice, and it was just this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. It did take me 2 years to publish my first book, but after that, I have now over 90 books on Amazon,
Insane.
multi-genre. I also have a couple of screenplays. I have 4 songs that I've written that are out there. So I love it. I write for other people as well. I'm a ghostwriter. I've been doing that for about 9 years. So it's fun. Life is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be hard. You know, there are hard moments, yes, but life in general should be full of fun, you know, and I love it. And I get to now with my children's books. I have 2 beautiful, beautiful granddaughters who are both 5, and they inspire me for my children's books. And a lot of people are out here and they write because they want to be the next Stephen King and they want to make $1 million and stuff. And I'm going to tell you, that's hard in itself. But when I see my granddaughters smile when they read one of my books, whether it's a picture book or a number book or it doesn't matter what it is, to see their smile, that's what does it. Nothing beats that.
100%. 100%. Seeing the joy that you create with your art, I think,
Right.
is
Right.
the pinnacle of a life well lived. I was just going to ask, because a lot of people try to take the route of juggling. So they'll say, oh, for security's sake, I will keep my day job and then I will stay up and I will write, or I will do my 5 to 9 after my 9 to 5, things like that. What made you so sure that you had to give the writing your full attention rather than doing something like that?
For the first 2 years, I questioned that. I'll be honest, because I wasn't going anywhere. I was writing, I was submitting to publishers and to agents and things like that, and I wasn't getting anywhere. And then a publishing company gave me a shot, right almost at the end of that 2-year mark, and I was like, "Holy cow, maybe I am good enough." you know and when they put it in print, when you see your first works in print, it's overwhelming. And that right there, that was worth the whole 2 years of second guessing, am I good enough? And I don't think it matters what career you have, you're always wondering, are you good enough? But deep down, you already know you're good enough, and that's the joy of it. You already know. It's just believing in yourself fully, not just partially, that gets you to
Yeah.
that top, to the top, saying, yes, I am good enough. I did second guess, hey, I should probably go do a day job, but I do not regret any decision I made.
That is great to hear that you doubted, because we're all doubting all the time, right? But
Right.
you followed through. And I think depending on a publisher for that validation is very scary. And I know that you self-publish a lot of your books now. So was it, kind of the decision to keep your own intellectual property? What made you switch over from that world?
Okay, so the publishing company that published my first book, they actually went out of business. So they gave
Oh,
me the rights back to my book. And then I had a
nice.
second publisher. Yeah, I had a second publisher pick up some more of my books later on, and they closed. So I was like, you know, I've heard of the KDP Kindle publishing thing. Let's do that. So I am self-taught how to self-publish. I do all of my book covers. I do all of the formatting. I do all of the graphics for my children's books. So it's all self-taught. So it's taken me a long time to learn all of that, but it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Yeah.
I actually know exactly the process that you're talking about, because I have published a few books through Kindle Direct. And
Mhm.
yeah, what a crazy thing with all of the like tweaking that you have to do. I know I have to go back and redo them. I was just so excited to get, my message out there that I I I made some shortcuts, but yeah, no small feat to do that. So, and creating the covers, has that been another creative outlet for you as well as the writing?
It has been. It's fun to create something and then, have it print and you hold it in your hand and you look at it and you're like, man, I made that. I didn't just write the words in that book. I
Yeah,
made I made that cover.
that is so
That's
cool.
It's exhilarating. It really is. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's and nobody could depict better what's inside than you, who spent however long you spent. What does your daily life look like? Like, are you just writing all day? I'm
Mhm.
very, I
Okay.
love to write, but I hate to edit. Let's put it that
Okay.
way.
So,
Or I love editing other people's papers,
oh yeah,
but when it
yeah,
comes to
that's
my
fun.
own over and
Right.
over and over,
Right.
how
So,
do you keep the passion?
um, my typical day starts between 4 and 4:30 in the morning. I am an early bird. Um, I do my morning routine. I usually start writing around 6 o'clock in the morning. Um, It's whatever work in progress that I'm working on. It could be a horror book, it could be a romance, or it could be a children's or a poem or songs or even crafting my screenwriting. And I'll write for a couple hours. I'll take a break, an hour or so, and then I'll get right back into it. And that usually lasts like, I'll write 3 or 4 hours, take an hour break, write 3 or 4 hours, and it'll continue until roughly 9:30, 10 at night. Um,
Holy cow.
if I'm ghostwriting for somebody, I usually have set hours. If I'm doing an editing job for somebody, I have set hours. I don't use that, free will of my own time because I'm working on their time. Um,
Uh-huh.
because it's a paid job. So, but I take that back. I can't say it's a job because I love what I do. And anything that you love to do should never be a job. It's just what you love to do.
Grace,
That's
I can
exactly, yeah.
appreciate.
So, and usually that's Monday through Saturday. I usually take Sundays off. There are days during the week. If I don't have a contract with somebody, I'll take the day off completely. I was like, hey, I don't have to do anything today. I might for an hour or two, but I'll go out. And I live in the woods, so I love
Oh,
nature.
the
I
dream.
love nature. Um, so it's very cold here right now. We're at 37 degrees right now. So it's a little cold. So, um, but it's just, I love nature. I love books. I love animals. You know, I, I love life. It's a beautiful thing.
That is so so awesome. I could tell we're kindred spirits because all of the last few weeks I've been telling my family I'm gonna go pull a Walden and I'm gonna go off into the woods. I feel like I need that.
Uh-huh.
And just all of the overstimulation of even living in a suburb is too much right now.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
to I think being in nature gets you so in touch with your inner wisdom.
it does.
And have you experienced any form of writer's block, or is it that you're in charge and you're not pressuring yourself and that you just allow it to come in?
I really don't think I would consider it writer's block. If I'm working on a work in progress, let's say it's a children's book, and I just can't think of anything that'll go with this or go with that, I'll actually put it up and I'll pull out another book that I'm working on. I usually have 3 to 4 that are going at one time. And so if I can't work on this one, I know something might pop on this one or something might pop on that one. Or I'll just think of something new. I'm actually waiting for the edits to come back for the third book in a trilogy that I'm working on, The Masquerade of Secrets. And I was sitting here thinking, I was like, well, I can work on Inferno's Obsession, which is it's a LGBT firefighter book. Or I can work on this screenplay because I got some good critics on it and critiques on it and everything. And I was like, nope, I think I'm going to work on a children's book. So today I started on a picture book. It's a Christmas picture book for kids. So my mind does not usually shut off. So if it's not one project, it's another or another. It's
That's so funny. I am the same exact way.
yeah,
It's like as long as I can say, "Oh, I don't need to do that project today," there's always something that's going to inspire me, even if it's creating a new project like you said. I'm always jumping between
yeah,
things, and that's what keeps me alive and takes the pressure of like needing to work off because there's always something I can do that I
right,
will enjoy. And there's going to be a mood that comes that I'll want to do the thing that I don't want to do right now later.
Right.
So with your interdisciplinary writing, I'm a very interdisciplinary person myself. And in the world of academia, it really feels like people try to pigeonhole you into one field. For instance, neuroscience or something of that nature. You can only get a degree in the one thing. And I'm struggling with that because I am interested in so many things and I want to bring them all together. And what you're doing is similarly kind of against the natural literary world order, where you're supposed to pick a genre and have that associated with your name and whatnot.
Right.
So I'd love to hear about your own rebellion to pursue exactly what feels right to you and how that's worked out for you.
For me, I have certificates in technical writing and different things like that. And it's great to have. It really is. It looks great on a resume. The technical writing and the English and the grammar and things, all that looks great on a resume. But you're the one that makes your own decisions. Why should you have to walk in the path that they say, oh, you need to do this, 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 and this, and then later on we might do this? Well, why? Why can't I do that over there if it helps me in the long run? And these over here that you want me to do, they're not going to help me. I'm not one for rules. Sorry, mom. I'm not one for rules. You know, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to prove you wrong
Yeah,
because come hell or high water, I'm going to do it and I'm going to succeed in it because you just motivated me by telling me, no, you can't do that. No, it's not going to work. It's going to work one way or another.
yeah,
We should not, as a society, we should not allow others to dictate what we should have to do because
I
they
totally agree.
they they are not you and you are not me.
Oh yeah, and everybody's needs and path is going to be entirely different.
Exactly.
That is, yeah, a beautiful point, and we kind of have to pave our own paths in that sense. Um, so for people that are getting inspired to pave their own paths, but they're in the seat of self-doubt or feeling like it's too late to start, what wisdom would you want to share with them, that those people that are feeling that pull but hesitating?
It's never too late to start something new. It's never too late to continue something old. It's never too late for anything. You make your own path. If you allow somebody to say, nope, you're done, and you stop, how are you going to know how far you could have gone if you don't try? Take that leap of faith.
Absolutely. Leap of faith. That's a good theme. I think a lot of people not wanting to switch fields is in that feeling of fear of not being good enough or having to relearn everything, or not knowing what people their age would know if they started in the field young, um, or even just being seen as not enough, or having that difficult learning curve and you know looking a little
Right.
silly at the beginning. And I'm really working on that personally, um, because if my motivation is just to learn in every sense, I can't do anything wrong, you know? And people are afraid to admit that they don't know the answer to a question, or they're afraid to ask a question because they don't want to seem like they don't know. But the whole answer is diving in, like you did with the entire literary world. You didn't know anything about the book, you know,
Mhm.
empire, right? And you
Right.
dove right in. And I'm sure you felt that, you know, slight, I don't know what I'm doing here at the very beginning. But
Oh,
you
I,
stuck with
I,
the
I
journey.
still feel it though. That's the thing. I've been doing it for 10 years, self-publishing for roughly 7.5 rough years. And I'm still like, oh, what am I doing? I have no clue what I'm doing, you know. But I have the privilege of knowing so many authors, and, I have so many friends in the writing community, in the writing world, that I can send them a message and say, "Hey, I need some help." But in the very beginning, I didn't have that. I
Mm.
did not have any of that. So it's very scary to start something new. I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to death. I was scared to death, like, "Oh my gosh, they're not gonna like this book cover. Oh my gosh, nobody's gonna read my book. I'm gonna be judged. I'm gonna be this. What? The only person that can judge you, I have learned this over the years, the only person that can judge you is yourself.
Nobody's ever gonna know you well enough to judge you otherwise.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, um, I've been judged in so many different aspects of life that it, it's it's common that I see when somebody judges you is because they fear the unknown. They fear
Mm.
you because they don't know you. They fear the supermarket because they've never been in a supermarket. Or, but they will judge you first before getting to know you or what you do or what they can and can't do. But they don't know what they can do if they don't try. You don't know who I am unless you ask me. And I'm
Yeah.
an open book. You can ask me anything in the world and I will answer you. If I don't know the answer, I know somebody that probably does. But,
I love that.
it's the point of, don't put yourself out there on a pedestal. Aim for the pedestal and shoot for that pedestal and watch yourself climb that pedestal, because there's always a higher point than the top of that pedestal. Because if you stand
Yeah.
just on that simple pedestal, it's where you're going to stay. You're not going
Yeah,
to go
that's
any higher.
true.
You're not going to go any higher. And then you're the
That's
one
true.
judging other people.
I do struggle with the pedestal aspect of things. I think there are so many
Mhm.
people that are super comfortable sharing their art, their ideas, their everything because they believe that they're special. And they are, because each individual is special. But when I try to use that notion with myself,
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, but we're all special and I'm no more special than anyone else. So why would my message mean anything more? And I get into this whole loop of like, will I even be able to make an impact, whatever. But then it's like, on the off chance that I could, the people that I want to help, it's worth it.
It is. Even if you help one person. And the thing is, even if you just help yourself, it's worth it. And you are that one person that you help. It's worth every climb, every step, every inch. It doesn't matter. It's worth it.
I never thought of it that way. That's true self-love.
Yeah.
Hmm, I like that. So how do you feel about, in that sense, advertising for your books? Like, are you, because I'm kind of like, I just want people to find me when they need me. I want them, I don't want to like shamelessly put
Uh-huh.
myself out there and try to sell myself, because I know, what I offer, and I want people to come to it gently. Does that make
Right.
sense?
So
How do you feel about
it,
that?
it's a really good question because I honestly suck at marketing. Uh, I have so many social medias, and I have a website, and I have a YouTube, and I have TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, all of these social medias, and I will post a book every now and then. Um, I'm more of word of mouth. I will message everybody on my Facebook contact list and in my text message say, "Hey, here's my new book."
You're
But
beyond that now.
yeah, marketing, I truly suck at it. I should put myself out there more because I have so many books. But it's not the point. I'm not. I don't know how to explain it. I suck at marketing. Uh, it's more of word of mouth because I talk to so many authors and I get their opinions, and who should I market to? Well, you market to this
Mm.
person. Well, the catch is with my books is I have so many genres. Now, I go from extreme erotic all the way to children's books.
Yeah.
So when you put my name in Amazon and all of these books come up, unless a parent is watching their child, they're going to see a sexy model on a book cover right above a children's book because I do not use a pen name. I do not use a pen name. And, I've had a lot of people, sorry, mom, again, um, tell me I should use a pen name because I have grandchildren now. Or, oh, you have children when they were younger. And I'm like, no, I'm proud of what I write. I fully understand those that use a pen name because they're teachers or lawyers or doctors or, it could hurt their day career. And I fully understand that and I fully get it, but I don't have one of those. I don't have a day job. I have my books. I have my writing. And whether you want to read the extreme erotic, I mean, we're talking extreme, or you want to read, or you want to read a children's book, a picture book. That's up to you. But I offer all of those, and I'm not ashamed of them. And yes, I should market more, but I just don't. Because I write whatever comes to my head. Um, yeah,
Yeah, but you've been successful enough to do this as
I
a living for
yes.
over 10 years, so
And I am
it's
very thankful for that. I'm very thankful.
yeah.
The people I have worked with and for, they have all been happy with my work. And I'm happy to work with them and for them. It's, it brings joy to see their eyes if I edit a book and it's full done and they go to publish and they see that book in print. To see their smile is like somebody smiling when I've written a book. So it's very rewarding.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And you've done some ghostwriting, so what have you
Yes,
learned? Have you learned more about yourself by writing for other people and their stories?
I have not just myself, but people I don't even know. A lot of the ghost writes that I've done, they are over phone calls, text messages, or emails. It's very seldom a face to face, even
Huh.
on a Zoom or whatnot. So the level of trust between the two of us, complete strangers. I've ghostwritten for somebody in on the West Coast, and I'm all the way in the East Coast. So across the country, complete strangers who trust each other enough to bring a dream for one of these people to come, a dream come true. And so it's learning that there are so many good people and it's just a few bad people that ruin it. But there are so many good people in this world and you don't even have to meet and you become friends and then
Yeah,
sometimes you become family.
it's
So
beautiful.
writing just doesn't express my outward thoughts. It actually brings people closer and it's pretty cool.
I mean, to be able to ghostwrite somebody's innermost desire to get out into the world, especially if it's like a biographical piece, right?
Which
You
I have
have
done, 3 of those.
Yeah, you have to be an incredible listener. You have to be empathetic, be able to put yourself in their shoes, and they have to feel that from you in that initial call. And I think you do give that off that care to share people's stories because you know how cathartic it is to share your own.
Right, right.
Um, I think that is so beautiful. I really admire that. So what is next for you as a writer,
Uh,
mentor, grandma?
uh, well, I don't think either of my kids are ready for another baby yet. So, no, I'm working on a new children's picture book, waiting on the edits back for the final trilogy, the final book in the, Masquerade of Secrets trilogy. I have Inferno's Obsession. I have it's and then Patient 1308 I've been working on. It's the sane is not sane and the sane is insane type of book. Yeah. So
Huh.
it's whatever my mind goes to.
So
So
cool.
I really don't know. When I wake up in the morning, I have a free mind. I don't worry about hey, what am I doing today? Because does it matter? It doesn't. I woke up
Yeah.
this morning, and that's the way I think a lot of people, they go to bed at night and they're worrying, and they wake up and they're
Yeah.
worrying and about this and about that. And I fully understand you got you kids, family, bills, this and that and everything. But if you wake up with a clear mind, a clear out view of just your morning, take in that fresh air and say, I got this. Yeah, you got it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you got bills. You got a day job. You've got this and you've got that. But the most important thing is you just woke up to a brand new day.
Yeah.
So take that leap of faith. Because are you going to have tomorrow? Who knows? Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So why waste that? Take that leap of faith because you don't know if you have tomorrow. Nobody
You're
does.
so right. You're so right. And people do waste so much worry, including myself, on financial security. I think that is
Uh-huh.
probably the biggest thing holding people back and making them choose fields that don't align with their greater purpose,
Exactly.
just because they're afraid of taking that leap. So, in those moments where you were in those 2 years writing that first book, didn't have any financial or publisher feedback yet, what did you do to get yourself to keep going past that fear?
Uh, I think honestly, it was more of my mom, and if I get emotional, I'm sorry. My mom in the back
No,
of my head.
sorry.
I was not just adopted. I have a twin sister and an older brother, and my mom and dad adopted all three of us. So they gave us a second chance. And if it hadn't been for my mom and my dad giving us that second chance, who am I to stand there and say, I can't do this. I can't do that. They did. They gave me that second chance. So when I had those doubt for those 2 years, it was my mom in the back of my head saying, yeah, you can do this. Just keep going. We didn't give up on you, so don't give up on yourself. So, my mom is with me all the time, and she's over in Tennessee with my dad right now. But, you know, it's the strength of my mom and my two kids. I have two beautiful kids. My son Wyatt and my daughter Courtney are my strength. They make me want to keep going. And now both of them have little girls. So it's just not about me. It's about the whole family. My granddaughters can see, hey, Mamaw is almost 50 years old and she's still doing it. She's still doing what she loves. I can do that one day. And they can. Anybody can. It doesn't matter how old you are, you know. But in those 2 years of second guessing myself, it was my mom. I have to say it was my mom who
That
kept me
is
going.
beautiful.
And if she listens to this, this will be the first time that she will know that because
That
I've
is so
I've
beautiful.
never told her.
Oh,
She knows now.
I
I love you, mom. So yeah,
oh boy, you got me teary-eyed.
yeah,
Oh, that is so beautiful. Now we have to send it to her.
yeah. I will.
Unequivocal.
Yeah,
I am a big proponent of the people that we love and appreciate need to know. And every time there's a holiday or birthday, I'm writing like the
yeah,
longest freaking card just to
yeah.
take that opportunity to express those things.
Yeah,
So,
never take family for granted. Never, because one day they're not going to be here, and you wish you would have loved them a little more or said what you needed to say. Um, do it now. Just like take that
exactly.
leap of faith. Do what your heart tells you to do.
Wow. A lot of listening I have to do. Instead of just hearing my heart, I need to listen.
Hmm.
That is a really good lesson. Listen and leap.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your autobiography.
Well, no, I promised a certain somebody I would not write an autobiography, and I'm not going to.
Hmm,
I've been told I need to, but I'm not going to because my story is within all of the books that I've written. Um, that's my story. You know, my words
that's
from
beautiful.
my heart and my brain. I don't need an autobiography. I don't need one. So
I love that. You are your art.
yeah. Because that's what each individual are. I mean, everybody has their own art. They are themselves. They are, you know, this person writes, this person crochets, or this person golfs, or this one does archery. That is their art, and that's what makes them who they are. That's what makes them their own person.
Who thou art.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, oh my gosh, there's so many beautiful, profound things in this episode. I'm so excited to share it. But I'd like to give you a chance to tune in to these listeners right now, what you want them to hear, what you need them to know deep down, and what you hope they take from this episode.
Be who you are, not who somebody wants you to be. Love yourself for who you are. It doesn't matter. Um, because in the end, it's only you. You know, take that leap of faith, love yourself from within. That's you know that's the
That's
advice
all.
I that's all that's all I can give. Because
But
it's
you live it.
go ahead.
You live it. You're not
I
just
have
telling us to do it. You're showing us how. That is,
no. I'm. It's just not. It's not words that I'm thinking of. These are the words that I feel, because I've lived it. I've done the 9 to 5. I've done the 12-hour days, and you know, um, kids and things, this job and that job, and you will worry yourself to death, and you will make yourself stress over every little detail there is. Or you could take that leap of faith, fill your heart with everything that you love, pass that love on, and be yourself for who you are. Not for your mom, not for your dad, not for your cousins or Joe Schmo down the road. You know, it's loving yourself and believing in yourself. You know,
that should
um,
be the priority, absolutely. And then everything will fall into place from there.
everything, it might take time. You know, mine was 2 years. It might take the next person 2 days, or it might take 15 years. You don't know unless you try. Take that leap of faith. What is there to lose?
And as far as that self-love goes, did you always just have that inside you, or is it something
No,
that you had to build?
no, this is gonna get a little deep. I have attempted to take my life twice because I have been so depressed. I did not love myself. I did not like myself. I looked in the mirror and all I saw was ugly. Sorry, Mom. I know you didn't know about this. Uh, but I found myself, and finding yourself can be one of the most scariest things that you ever go through, because you realize how much you actually love yourself. And you have to admit that to yourself. And it's when you admit that you're either wrong and you just don't want to face it. You don't want to face it. Nobody wants to face that they're wrong in doing something or saying something. But once you admit to yourself that you were wrong in so many ways, I was wrong. I was not ugly. I'm beautiful in every way there is, inside and out. And once you find that, it sets you free. It sets your heart free. I've done so much writing since it's an amazing feeling. And everybody has different experiences. Mine, I cried and I had not cried like that in forever because I just let loose. Sorry.
No problem.
I just let loose. It's one of those things that it's hard to explain, but once you feel it, you feel free and you love yourself. Loving yourself is the number one thing, and trusting and believing in yourself.
You're so right. And I think until you love yourself, I know so many people that struggle with the feeling that they deserve to be loved or to be happy. And like all things, that starts with the loving yourself enough to know
Exactly.
that you deserve it.
Exactly.
Thank you for sharing that. That was really profound, really beautiful. Too many people are thinking that way, and I'm glad we can take a chance here to spread that love, that self-love, that
Yeah.
love for each other. We're all going through stuff, and to see you come out on the other side with this full, unequivocal love for yourself, doing
Yeah.
exactly what you were meant to do is so incredible. Do you do any form of journaling or anything like that, or is it just
I do.
your
I
writing?
do. I do.
Okay.
I journal every day. I actually have a big plastic tote full of journals, and they go back to 1996, I believe.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, and every move that I've ever made, that tote comes with me. I could lose
100%.
everything else, and that tote comes with me. One day that I do pass away or whatnot, if somebody wants to write an autobiography, they can. About me, they can write a biography about me. That's cool, but not while I'm here. No. But it's journaling for me is just letting go. I can sit here and write stories and do graphics for picture books, but journaling for me is a way for me to let loose. Um, Free writing is such a good way to just let go of
It
the
really
day's
is.
frustrations, the days, if I want to sit there and write 5 pages of cuss words, I'm going to do it, or if I want to sit here and say, well, another leaf fell off the tree today, maybe more will fall tomorrow, as of right now, there are no leaves on the tree, but still. Um, so, journaling I believe, is a self-help type thing.
It is.
I have a few of the uh, journals that I've made on Amazon. Um,
I was gonna
in
say you should. That's
I do.
great.
And some of them have writing prompts to them to help others think of something they want to write about. They just don't know what. So then, there's some writing prompts in some of them. So yeah.
That's so great. I have said that before, that every time I finish a journal entry, I could start with the biggest problem and then I end feeling like I just had a therapy session and I'm
Oh
all
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just come out on the other end happy and ready to tackle whatever it is. So
Right. Right.
I'm very glad to hear you use that as a tool as well. And
I
I
do.
was just thinking about that. I'm starting my collection of those journals here.
Okay.
And like my books that come everywhere I move, these will too. Do you ever go back and read old entries and see how far you've come?
No.
No?
No. Because I know in a lot of them there's a lot of my past, which yesterday was the past, but there's some deep dark bunch of dark stuff, and I've overcome all of that. And I've heard therapists tell people, hey, write journal until you feel free and then burn it, and then it
Yeah.
disappears. No, it doesn't disappear. The book disappears. Those memories are still there. Those thoughts are still there. It's just it helped you deal with them by writing them down. They're
You're
still
letting
up
them
there,
go.
you
Yeah.
know. Um, but no, I do not. I open the container and throw the full book in, close it, start a new one.
And you move
So no,
forward.
I don't. I don't know that I would want to. Mm-mm.
Interesting. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I don't actively go and look back, but
Mm.
sometimes I'll come across one, and the only thing I realize is, wow, I was struggling so much at that time, and I've come so far from there, and I'm so blessed, to not have those worries anymore.
Right.
Even
Um,
not even that the problems are gone, but that my perspective has shifted
right.
around the problems.
Um, and I mean, it's good to have that, but even without looking, you already know how far you've come.
True.
You
It's
know,
true.
6 months ago, we're over here, and today I'm up here. So
Oh
I
my
know
gosh.
it's more of a, it could be a slow incline, but you've made it. It's
Oh, yeah.
been one step at a time,
Yeah,
because
if I if I
yeah, go ahead.
mhm. If I take a minute to go back, like, even a year, I was so deathly afraid of public speaking. I wouldn't travel alone. I'd never, like, gone on a flight alone, um, and now I just got back from a trip where I went to 3 different cities in 2 different states, traveled alone, presented my work, was up on stage, and I run a podcast, and it's just, like, looking at the difference, I can only imagine where I'm gonna be in a year from now, and,
You're
I
going
can
you're
definitely say I'm
you're
proud.
you're doing it, and it's
Yeah,
it's
when I
it's
talk to my
those
family, they're
yeah.
like, "I don't even recognize you."
Yeah, it's those moments of proudness and those steps that got you to where you are, and with all of the knowledge and all the steps that you've taken so far, you're going even higher in the next 2 weeks. You'll be higher than you are right now. It's because you have that self-love now that you found after, you don't do public speaking, but now look at you. It's because you found that inner strength, you found that inner love that you knew you had. You just had to break that wall down. So break the next wall down
Absolutely.
and keep climbing. And
That's what
that's
we're
all it
doing,
takes. Yeah.
breaking walls and taking leaps.
There you go.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for being here, Rhonda. I can't wait to share this episode. It's turned into something even more beautiful than I imagined. Thank you
Thank you
for
so much for
your
having me.
for your openness. Yeah. And when you get to your 100th book, we're going to have you back on and have a party.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've got 6 to go.
Perfect. Oh, that's
6
so
more to
awesome.
go.
You know what's
So,
great? Whenever I read like a series or something like that, I prioritize the ones that are long because I don't like when books I love end or when authors I
right,
love run out of books. So
right.
I mean, I'm just gonna dive in and have plenty to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So thank you for
I
that gift.
if I could recommend the first book, I would recommend Like Mother, Like Daughter.
Okay.
It's a cross between Million Dollar Baby and Philadelphia. I don't know if you've seen those 2
Okay.
movies.
I have
If
not,
you've seen
but
tho
I'm intrigued.
if you've seen those 2 movies, or even, YouTube the prequel, or the,
Trailer.
I guess synopsis is what it would be. It would be a cross. My book is a cross between those 2 movies. It's a heartbreaking, joyful collaboration of family, friends, and love. So
Great. I like one that covers it all. And you know what? I was thinking it's not just the story that I'm gonna love, it's that it's your voice that I'm going to allow myself to be enamored with, that it's yours and yours alone, and you are the only person that could write those words, and if you didn't decide to take that leap, I wouldn't be able to read them. So,
I appreciate that.
thank you.
That means a whole lot. Thank you.
I'm so excited. Thank you, Rhonda. All right, we'll see you soon then.
Alrighty.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experience with us, Rhonda. You remind us that reinvention is not rebellion, it's biology. And every time we choose a path that aligns with joy, we literally reshape the architecture of our brain. We quiet the stress circuits, we strengthen the pathways of meaning, and we remember that healing isn't just about recovery, but about creation. about this new version of you, this healed you, and all of the possibilities that come with you. If you want to explore Rhonda's books or connect with her work as an editor and ghostwriter, you'll find her links in the show notes. And if tonight's conversation reignited something in you, that creative pulse, follow it. It's not indulgence, it's intelligence. And remember, becoming yourself is the most meaningful experiment you'll ever run. Until next time, keep shining.